I'm Rob Wheely, and I'm the CEO of Alloy Wheel Repair Specialists. We're the world's largest provider of wheel refinishing, remanufacturing, and wheel replacement. My dad was a car enthusiast, always working on cars of his own and new projects. That passed down to me, and it still grows with me today. Wheels have become the jewelry of the car. People want their wheels to look nice. We provide basic refinishing of wheels. We have remanufacturing facilities that provide extensive repair. We also have put all of our processes through an independent facility that's accredited. You can find those certifications on our website. We do it all. You bring your wheel to us and we'll figure it out. We strive for not just customer service experience, but customer excellence. We want to wow them so they come back each and every time. All of our technicians are trained and certified. We even have a master training course. It's important to love what you do. It's important to make employees feel a part of the team, and they're seeing the same rewards as you do. That's what helps us accomplish our goal. Everybody's our customer. The retail public, dealerships, body shops, insurance companies, warranty companies. We have a claims department. We're the ones that they call to come in and repair it. So if you find yourself in need of wheel refinishing, wheel repair, wheel replacement, or if you just want to custom color your wheels, give us a call. We'll help you find the right location, or you can go to our website. There's a locator on there to find the location closest to you.
Hello everybody, welcome into the FastTrack Sim Racing Cup Series presented by the Alloy Wheel Repair Specialists. Making our stop at a short track here tonight, Richmond, Virginia. Let's get right down to it, get right into your starting grid here tonight. How about it on the pole? Austin Fitzgerald second is going to be last week's winner, Brian Curry. Tyler Marble starts from the third position with Jared Bunny to his outside. Joshua Watson, 8 wins on the season. We'll see if he can make it 9 tonight. Starts fifth with Jeffrey Souza to his outside in sixth. Row 4 is going to be Andrew Kotska and Matthew Cox. How about Jeff Shutt in ninth? Kyle Oakley rounding out your top 10. Row 6 is going to be Cody Richardson and Jacob Musso. Jeff Marble in 13th with Scott Glasso in 14th. Andrew Nieder wanted a short track earlier this season. Bristol, he starts 15th. He'll have JBR E-Racing's Brian Watson to his outside in 16th. Richard Elliott and his teammate Adrian Watts, they will start in row 9. Cody Colley 19th. Thomas O'Hara rounding out the top 20. Brian Conklin and Johnny McCulchuk make up row 11. It's going to be Danny Gutierrez and Sean Kaltbach making up row 12. Todd Shiro and Bill Benedict, row 13. Back at 27th, it's going to be Brandon Ishkanine. 28th, Ryan Haynes. 29th, Brett Spod. 30th is going to be Cody Matthews. 31st, Glenn Grigsby. 32nd, Alan Pajari. 33rd, Andrew Russo. And rounding out that 34th position tonight is going to be Matthew Gearinger. Good to see him back in the race tonight. Talk about it, Richmond. It's a short track coming in at under a mile in length, 0.72 miles. It looks like 7.77 rather, excuse me. Richmond Summer 200 for the FastTrack Sim Racing Cup Series. Going to be 200 laps tonight, 100% fuel, 3 sets of tires, no fast repairs, open setups, 3 green-white checkers. Wind pretty calm, partly cloudy skies, and track temps a little toasty. These guys might be slipping and sliding around. Only way we're going to know is when we're about to find out. Ooh, a little trouble, looked like for Souza. Coming to the green here, he finds himself up into the wall. So we are going to go ahead and take another pace lap. We do 2 around Richmond. Pretty short track, gives everybody some time to get ready, get set up. We got plenty of driver camps tonight. We'll have plenty of them to show for you throughout the race. But how about we start off with the man, the pole sitter, Austin Fitzgerald. There he is, getting ready to go. Going to start on the inside. And it's not so much, I don't feel like that clean air is going to be necessarily the key here at Richmond, but track position in general. So, of course, if you find yourself in the cleanest area, you got yourself in the lead, you're doing something right. But it's going to be a tough track to pass. I think we're going to see 2 wide here off the start. I don't know if we'll see much 3 wide tonight, but I definitely think passing is going to be a challenge. I think anybody that has a car that's good at passing is obviously going to be the best here tonight. Austin Fitzgerald, he has 200 laps ahead of him. We will see if he can find a way to make it happen. Green flag is in the air. We are racing in the Richmond Summer 200. Lap 1 complete, and guess who? It's Brian Curry on the outside. Talked about got the win last week. He's looking to pick up right where he left off. Joshua Watson, Tyler Marble look to the inside of Austin Fitzgerald. Now the 74, he likes to hang around for the long-term game, so I think right now it's just a matter of how much position can he hold here in the short run. Always the toughest part about tracks like Richmond. If you have a long run setup, it is so difficult if you want to try to hold track position early on because guys want it so bad. So important. And you are seeing that right here. Jacob Musso, Scott Glasso, Brian Watson, all these guys trying to make something work around the outside, but sooner or later it's going to kind of fade. They're going to all have to find a spot on the inside line. Until then, they might fall to the back further and further. Now, what we kind of did see, though, I will say right off the start, was Brian Curry making the outside work around Austin Fitzgerald. I'm not sure if that's just something he's got going with his setup, or maybe that outside does have some speed and he was just the first one to find it. Here's a ride on board with Richard Elliott, another one of the guys carrying an onboard camera for us here tonight. He's watching his teammates battle it out. This is for the 15th position, excuse me. Adrian Watts trying to take it away, up 3 from where he started. But back on board here with Richard Elliott. Listen to the throttle. In fact, let's go ahead and take down the cam here. Let's show you the dashboard. I think we're going to see a couple different gear settings for a lot of these guys, but looks like Richard feeling pretty comfortable here. He's got it set up. He's going to stay in 4th. Down the front straightaway. Does he get up to 5th? Doesn't quite. Revs it out. Top of 4. Ooh, ahead of him. It's a little bit of a mess here. 3 wide. Can these guys sort it all out? Off of 2. Almost some contact with the wall. In fact, there was maybe a little bit. For the winner the first time we came to Richmond, Cody Richardson looked like maybe he's just kissed the outside wall. You got to think if you're Cody, you probably didn't change too much from the setup you brought here the first time, considering how fast it was. That's the advantage if you win at one of the tracks that we head to twice during the season. And Cody looks like he's got a little bit of speed here, but he's trapped right now on that outside line, trying to slide down in. Currently sits in 13th, and he sees the rest of the field all getting lined up, trying to pull away ahead of him. 27 to Jeff Shutt on the inside. Cody's able to get the runs down the straight, but man, when they get into the corners, that short away around the track just kills the momentum. How about back up front to your leader, Brian Curry? He's got something going here early. He's made himself a 1-second gap as of right now over second place Tyler Marble. And the question is, how good of a job is he doing saving tire right now? I know we just took a ride on board with a couple guys, but we're going to take one more here. Listen to see if he's sliding these skid gears at all. Well, I got to be honest, just from that set of corners from the cockpit view, it certainly looks like Brian Curry's entering the turns here pretty aggressive on the brakes, getting in really hot on entry. Taking that low line, you do hear the tires sliding a little bit. But hey, if you got 2 wins on the season, you might as well risk it, sling it out there a little bit, try something new. And maybe Brian Curry's trying to see how far he can scoot away here. Definitely going to make some interesting choices to see on how long he can keep the lead with that strategy. But, you know, speaking of strategy, the race last time that Cody Richardson won, we saw quite a bit of strategy get played through there. And we very well could see some strategy here again tonight. It's all going to depend on how pit stops pan out. Looks like everybody can go somewhere between 100 and 120 laps on a tank of fuel. The problem is nobody's probably going to be able to make it that long because of the tires. Tire wear is a huge thing here at Richmond that everybody's going to face. That's why you're going to see a lot of guys saving tires throughout the run. But if you got that extra set for late in the run, we get a late caution, that very well could be the winning strategy to get the job done here tonight. Matthew Cox currently finds himself in 5th place. Got himself 1 win on the season. Unfortunately, he's not going to be playoff eligible. We talked about the reasoning for that last week, just not going to have enough races. Jeff Marble, on the other hand, he's got himself a win on the season, and he is locked in for playoffs about at this point. Just looking to see if he can get himself another win on the season. And, of course, fighting for the regular season championship. Very well in the mix and the battle for it up inside your top 3. Has been leading quite a bit. We'll see if he can hold on to that lead in the points. Maybe get that crown for the regular season champ. Here's Andrew Nieder just behind him. This is in 7th position. Another driver with 1 win. Funny how that works. Everybody right now inside your top 7 has a win. Andrew Nieder, of course, got his first and only win of the season at Bristol in a thriller. One of the last races we saw Carl Dotson in. And Kyle Oakley He's been having a couple good runs, 2 top 10s, and he is one of the drivers carrying an onboard camera for us here tonight. And it's his first night carrying one. Got himself a webcam. He's looking pretty spiffy down there. Got the big Fanatec wheels, got the gloves on, and he looks laser focused. Ooh, washes up a little bit there. Not sure if he just overshot the corner or if the car just got a little loose on him, but he had to chase it up the hill. Gets it back together down into turn 1. Is going to try to regroup. Richmond is such a rhythm track. You've got to get in that rhythm as soon as possible, and it's like a zone. And we talk about guys can get in a zone at certain times. They start feeling it. They start doing good. But Richmond, and a lot of the short tracks we had too, you got to get in a rhythm as soon as possible. Find that optimal line, and you got to just run it every single lap. It does not take much. One mistake here or there can cost you a ton of time at a track that's this heavy on wear for tires. And Brian Curry's starting to wash up the hill just a little bit now. Let's take a look at his entry here into turn 1. We'll compare it to second place Tyler Marble. And in fact, Tyler is starting to trim down that lead just ever so slightly, maybe by a couple of tenths. Looked like Brian was a lot better through turns 1 and 2 that time than he was 3 and 4 the last time, but Tyler still caught a little bit. And I think this is where he's catching the most. You see the 28 struggling to wrap the yellow. Meanwhile, the 48's looking a little bit tighter. And we know the 48's got some good throttle control. Tyler Marble, of course, got the win at a road course. Sonoma, when you're going uphill, downhill, turning right and left, you certainly got to know how to play with the pedal nicely. Looking back to the field, a little bit further towards the back, rather. Jeffrey Souza, we talked about those issues. We saw him get up into the wall under caution. This was on the formation lap when we were coming to green. Not sure if his wheel disconnected or what, but take a look at this. If he was trying to let people by or what, I just wasn't sure. Gets up and stays up, seems okay. Rolling real slow. Maybe he has maybe he got an EOL penalty. It wasn't too certain on exactly what happened here for the 96. But they start to get it sorted out. He seems okay there. Makes me think maybe the damage came from something during the green flag. And Sean Kaltenbach, looks like he may have had some issues here. Another driver with 2 wins on the season. This is down into turn 1 to the inside of Johnny Mikulchuk. He goes off at 2, gets a little wobbly. Trying to hold on, and finally get a spin out. Ooh. That's a little bit of a jarring shot to the inside wall there. Concrete, that's going to do more damage to his car than it would if it was probably the safer barrier. One more look at that from the cockpit view for Sean Kaltenbach, and he gets loose. He tries to fights it for maybe a half of the straightaway, but unfortunately finally loses it. And you hear he's trying to stay in the throttle. Sometimes, though, your best friend is just to bail out of the throttle. It's so hard, though. You're trying to maintain all your track position, and fortunately that's going to cost Sean Kaltenbach in a big way, as looks like his race may have come to an end already before it even really got started. Only 23 laps in, and he has retired for the moment. Jeffrey Souza back in 33rd position, meanwhile. And he's going to need a couple of breaks if he wants any shot. Finds himself currently 4 laps down, and probably going to lose a couple more the rest of this race. The way things are going right now, Brian Curry, you see they are not too far apart. In fact, it's going to be really close on if they catch these guys before the first green flag stop or not. Johnny Mikulchuk, our guy that lets us know about fuel and stuff, he thinks, well, he's not really sure, I guess. I think when we see the first tire stop, that's going to be a good indication of how long these guys can go where they still feel comfortable. Again, 3 sets of tires now, so you can't go in as much as maybe you'd like to. But I do like the idea of if it seems like it's one of those races that's going to stay green here for a while at Richmond, maybe try to pit a couple more times. You know, you can run a little bit harder. If you're in Brian Curry's case, it seems like he really likes to run fast on the short run, as Tyler Marble is now starting to track him down. 0.8 of a second is the gap between leader and second place. There's Andrew Kotska from Sim Racing, currently sits in 9th. Adrian Watts rounding out your top 10, and he has got a train behind him. Align the 27 car, Jeff Shutt, Cody Richardson, 2 very fast cars. You know Cody, he really wants to get around these guys, and if he gets himself to the front at some point in this race, that's going to be kind of the test. Does he have another shot at winning, maybe going back-to-back here at Richmond? Already has himself locked into the playoffs with the win earlier in the season, but again, it would just be so sweet to get a second one. And then Joshua Watson, Got the stats updated courtesy of Josh. We had some of the stats. Knew he had a lot of wins, but eventually he kind of lost count after you ran out of fingers on your one hand, because guess how many he's up to now in the season? 8 wins. And we still got a couple races to go before the regular season is even over. Never mind the playoffs. If you had to pick a championship 4 favorite, and you're not picking this guy, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, I'm sorry, but this has got to be my pick right here. The driver for JBR E-Racing, whether it's been speedways, road course, short track, mile and a half, he has found a way to be fast at just about every single one of them. The only thing that's really hurt him at the end of the day has been bad luck in some races. I'll tell you what, that luck was eliminated. We'll be talking about this guy with double-digit wins already, but man, 8 wins on the season is just absurd. Josh Watson getting the job done. Looking back a little bit further, there's Jeff Shutt. Got a couple of no bull races coming up. Jeff Shutt with 1 top 5, but of course one of the 2 no excuses racing drivers as the Capital Auto Group paint scheme. Going back here, looking at some of the battles going on. Brian Watson and Brian Coughlin, the 2 Brians, battling out the front of this. In fact, I wanted to take a look here. Let's compare some of the lap times here between Jeff Shutt and Cody Richardson. So look at Jeff Shutt's, Cody Richardson's lap time comparison, and it looks like Richardson has been faster 3 out of the last 5 laps, and that shows you that it's just the track position. I mean, you can be faster than a guy, but especially once we've gotten to old tires, which we're starting to kind of get into that phase now. I think once we hit lap 40 is when you really start to kind of consider getting into that long run mode where you got to expect that we're just going to continue to go green for a while. You're going to have a green flag pit stop at some point, but the point with that being said is the outside just does not seem to be viable at all after about the first, I would say, 10 laps. You know, we saw Brian Curry make it work right off the start. I think maybe Tyler Marble was trying to save a little something. That might have helped Brian's case out a little bit. But all of a sudden, Brian has pulled away again. Not sure if Tyler maybe slipped on a corner or what, but he lost all that time he made up. In fact, lost probably about 6 tenths, anywhere between 6 tenths and a second worth of time on your leader. Joshua Watson now kind of stalking, waiting for the 48 to make a mistake, and Tyler's looking a little bit loose right now. Let's ride on the front nose rather, of Joshua Watson. And just as we were on cam, yellow flag is out. Jared Bundy has crashed. Let's see what happened to number 6. Got a pole on the season. Had another great qualifying effort tonight. And I'm thinking this is going to be one of those classic Richmond spins. But let's go back and take a look at what brings out your first caution here of the night. Lap 36. And in that range of kind of when we saw the first caution last time we were at Richmond. Oh, he's going to get a little help here. Watch Jacob Moose from 95. Gives him a little tap. Says, hey, man, I'm there. Let me have it. Maybe not the friendliest way of getting by, but he finds a way to do it. Unfortunately, the 6 pays the price. Goes for a slide down the front stretch. Good news for him is he did not get any damage. You saw just slid there. No damage in the rear end either. So Jared Bundy, the only thing that really got hurt there was maybe the ego a little bit. And, of course, those tires. Might have to take a new set. I assume he's got a couple flat spots on him. Let's take a couple more angles of it. And how about we ride on the cockpit view here for Jacob Musso? It's a really interesting look. You know, normally you see guys get someone's bumper, maybe entrance or middle of the corner, but let's see. Yeah, I'm not sure if Jacob just misjudged it or if he was maybe unhappy about something, but yeah, he just gets to the back bumper at the exit of the corner and just kind of sends him around. Tough break. Let's take maybe one more look at it here. And there he goes. Back live, you got to think this is going to bring just about everybody down the pits, and sure enough, going to have a couple changes here, though. The guys that did go down to pit versus the guys that stayed Didn't stay out, but just the race in general through the pits. I'll tell you what, quick note while we're back here. Brandon Ishkanine. And you know what? I apologize. I still can't say his name. We're going to go with Ishkanine for now. We'll call him Brandon if we think we're going to struggle too much. But tell you what, he has got probably the coolest paint scheme that I've seen so far this season. I love the colors for the 19 Team Watson Racing driver. Second start so far this season. Had a good run going early in the last one. Unfortunately, not the best of luck. Got caught up in a couple of things. We'll see if he can turn that luck around here tonight. Still got plenty of time as we are not even a quarter of the way through this 200 lap endurance race almost. But it's going to be Brian Curry still leading the way. Joshua Watson second. Tyler Marble third. Austin Fitzgerald fourth. Matthew Cox in fifth. Jeff Marble sixth. Andrew Nieder at seventh. Eighth is going to be Andrew Kotska. There's the man. Kyle Oakley in ninth. And Jeff Shutt currently rounding out your top 10. Hey, we're going to get another lap to go around. Let's see if we can get a quick interview here from Kyle Oakley. Didn't get a chance to talk to him last time we were supposed to. See, he'd had a couple issues setting up his cam, but he's got it up now. I want to see if I can get a quick word with him here. Hey, Kyle, this is Austin up in the booth. You got a copy?
Oh, is Austin trying to talk to me again?
Yeah, you got a copy, man. What's up?
Am I supposed to, like, answer that when he calls? I thought he just pulled me to the channel.
And he's up here. Oh, he doesn't hear us because we're muted. That's kind of funny. All right, there we go. Now you should be able to hear us. Kyle, this is Austin up in the booth.
Hey,
you got a copy?
What's up, man?
Oh, man, I thought that I had you messed up, but I was the one messed up. Hey, I know you're getting ready to go green, but you got the camera fixed. The car's looking faster early. What's going to be the strategy the rest of the race?
Man, I'm just trying to hang on till the end to see what happens, man. I like the long run, so hopefully we can get some long runs here late.
All right, if we do get a late run, you're going to have a tire set left over, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, hey, keep an eye on it. We'll see what you can do the rest of the way. Good luck.
All right, thanks, buddy.
Green flag is back in the air for Brian Curry. Joshua Watson gets the blinding restart on the outside, though. Maybe caught the leader himself sleeping. He's going to see if he can take a shot at him here down into turn one. We saw Curry make the outside work. The question is, can Watson? And he's certainly going to try it. And guess what? He does. Just like that, new leader, Joshua Watson at Richmond. And he's going to see if he can pull away here. Got the clean air. We'll see how much he wants to push the pace early on. Battle for second is still on. Looking to the outside, Austin Fitzgerald seeing if he can make anything work. Can't do it. He's going to slip in line. So is Tyler Marble. Further back you go. We still got a couple trying to sort it out. Oh, the 17 Kyle Oakley. Big lockup. Oh, what a save. Are you kidding me? And I hope we didn't cause any of that bad luck there for Kyle. Oh, my goodness. I wish we had a replay of the hands working inside the cockpit right there. Oh, my goodness. We got to back this up a little bit and take a look. Wow, he was about 45 degrees sideways. Sometimes at a turn like that, you lock up the brakes, you can help straighten yourself out. He went with that strategy, and it worked out. Does he get help here, or does he just get in the corner too hot? Oh, maybe got a little assistance in there. Yeah, he does. Watch Jeff Shutt. Not sure if the 17 was braking early to try to get down lower what, but yeah, some contact. That's what sends Oakley in as hard as he went in. And washes way up the hill here as he gets sideways. And boom. Man. And we already have a candidate for the save of the night. Going live back up front. Kyle Oakley from that fell back to 13th. He's trying to work his way back around Jacob Musso as it stands right now. Joshua Watson, he's got the lead, but Brian Curry is not wanting to go away. He's not wanting to go away. He's still knocking the back door. Caution is back out. Danny Gutierrez involved in this one. Good for him here. And there he is. Turning the wrong direction on the backstretch. Ooh, heavy damage to the right front. And I take back what I said about my favorite paint scheme earlier. This is a paint scheme that this is the first time he's run this one this season, and that is another amazing looking paint scheme. Hate that the first time we're showing it is with damage and under caution. But let's take a look at it before it gets all scuffed up here, and more importantly, how it does get all scuffed up. Ooh, he gets some help there. Not sure if it was a checkup. Once he gets turned around by Brandon, taps the outside wall and then gets clobbered by the 35 of Brett Spott, who almost got upside down from that. kind of ramped up over him. Let's take a look from the chopper view. This was a really interesting look. Not sure. Oh, wonder if there was some netcode, or did the 08 have an issue? Oh, he gets loose. Yeah, that's what it is. He gets loose. He's trying to save it. And the 19 just kind of arrives on scene before Danny can save it. They make contact and sends Danny around. The 35 ramps over him. He slides in through. I think everybody else was able to avoid Brett's spot. Let's try it on the cockpit view for Danny here, and you're going to see him. He just gets loose. Not anything Brandon had did wrong. Yep. There's the light hit, and here's the big hit. And you can see the cloud of smoke for Brett Spot, who just could not see a thing. Tried to sneak around it. Richmond short track. The wall's pretty narrow from the top to the bottom. You're not going to have that much room to save it when you wreck here. And the 39 of Ryan Haynes, boy, he went for a slide, but he also held on, it looks like. Cody Matthews, did he maybe get involved in this? Showing some potential incident here. Cody's going to dive to the inside. So far, so good. 35 sliding back down the track, but Cody does a nice job getting checked up in time. So no contact there. The guys that got the worst of it were Brett Spot and Danny Gutierrez. And that caution may have came just in time for your current leader, Joshua Watson, because he was under fire there from second place Brian Curry. Nobody up front at least going to pit here. You got to save those tires, and most of these guys have already used 1 out of 3 of them. So your top 5. Let's go to top 10 right now, actually. Joshua Watson in first, Brian Curry second, Austin Fitzgerald in third, Tyler Marble fourth, Jeff Marble in fifth. It's going to be Matthew Cox in sixth. Engineer at 7th, Andrew Kotzka 8th, Cody Richardson in 9th, and Adrian Watts rounding out your top 10 as it stands right now. Hope everybody's having a good time here. 9:30 Eastern on a Monday night. What better way to spend it than watching the FastTrack Sim Racing Cup Series go at it. These guys got some fun races coming up. We saved that segment for a little bit later in the race, but I am genuinely excited for the next couple of weeks. I'll give you a little bit of a teaser. The next 2, Michigan next week. That is going to be a fun one. I'm telling you, the next-gen cars there are extremely racy. Do not be shocked if we are seeing 3, 4, maybe even 5 wide, depending on how risky everybody wants to get. But after that, how about we head back to the Brickyard, but not for the road course, for the actual track. Going around the Brickyard, we will see who can get the win at probably one of the most iconic tracks. And I'll tell you what, if I was a driver in this field, that would be on my bucket list for this season. That is one of the tracks I want to win at. And we'll see who's going to be the fastest there. It's a different track, but it is bad fast. And I've never seen a next-gen race there. In fact, the next-gens haven't even raced there in real life. So who knows how exciting it is going to be here in the sim. But we will be up here in the booth ready to call all the action from it, just as we are ready to call the action for the rest of the night here. Pace car takes the hard left turn back into the Geico restart zone. Green flag is in the air. 50 laps down for the Richmond Sumer 200. Joshua Watson doesn't make the mistake that Brian Curry made this time. He gets away from the outside line. That allows him to get clear. Doesn't have to worry about a challenge from the outside lane, but he might wanted to watch low because here comes Brian Curry. Dives it down into turn 3. He's going to send him up a little bit. Oh, man, almost a little contact. Door to door. Rubbin is racing. That is certainly the case right now between these two. And who is going to get first? Seems like the outside has been a little bit better on the restarts, at least through 1 and 2. But man, Curry has got some very fast short run speed. Ooh, he got a little loose. And if you're Joshua Watson at this point, you got to have, actually both of these guys, both of them 2 or more wins. Of course, Josh with 8, Curry with 2, but you can risk racing like this. You're in it for points, of course, but let's get worst case scenario, something happens to either of these guys. Their chances to make the playoffs aren't going anywhere. They are far secured and locked into the playoffs at this point. So they've got no problem putting a show for us, getting really racy. To the inside here, Brian Curry. One of these lanes is going to have to give first. And I think Tyler Marble likes what he is seeing in his windshield right now. He's probably just going to try to save some tire behind these two. And if you're the 48, I feel like you almost want them. You're kind of encouraging them to keep racing each other. The longer they stay side by side, the more tire both of them are burning off here. As Watson's trying to get clear. Curry doesn't want to let him have it. He doesn't. He's able to work his way back to the inside, but it looked like the inside was starting to fade there for just a minute. Back live, Austin Fitzgerald sitting in third. He's got Jeff Marble just behind him. 2x2 a little bit further out back. There's Jacob Musso and Thomas O'Hara. Jeff shut behind these guys. Alan Pajari, Johnny McCulchuk. Brian Watson slides by the 19. And up front, these two just cannot get away from each other right now. Josh keeps getting all but clear, getting down into the turn. If he wanted to get greedy enough, he probably could take it, but now he's going to be able to for sure. Who says bump drafting can't work on a short track? Tyler Marble gave a little push to Joshua Watson, and it works out. He's able to finally take that position, and how about a 2-for-1? Tyler Marble, by doing that, was able to also follow the 0-1 car through, and now he takes over second, and Brian Curry's wondering what just happened. Falls back to third. We'll see what can the 48 do to the 0-1 now. You got to think he's got a little bit better tires after watching those two battle, and yeah, Watson looks like he's defending here a little bit. Tyler Marble, always one of the guys that has probably the most laser focus you will see out of anyone, and there he is right now in the cockpit working the wheel. Ooh, Kyle Oakley with an issue. What has happened to the 17 car? Yellow flag is out. Third caution of the night falls on lap 58. And there's the 17. Around and not well. He's working his way down into turn 1. Don't see any damage just yet. Kyle might be okay here. Actually, can't tell if that's just the way he's got his foot or if it's a little dented in on the sides. The best way to find out here is to go back and take a look. And that's how we'll know if he actually got any damage here. If he hit anything. This is on the front stretch. It doesn't look like he's near anyone right now. Yeah, so I was going to say there had to have already been an incident. Yep, sure enough. Now remember, him falling back to this spot all happened after he got sent into the corner a little too hard. Saved it, but lost a couple of positions. Yeah, Jacob Musso washes up, gives him a little bump, tries to jump to the inside, and it looks like the 27 of Jeff Shutt may have been coming up. Jeff, of course, probably not expecting them to go 3 wide. He's expecting that 17 car to slide up a little bit in this situation, but of course he doesn't. So we're 3 wide, and see, is this exactly what happens? Yeah, Oakley sees it's going to try to dive to the bottom. And yeah, it's just two guys coming together. Nobody really at fault, kind of a racing deal. Holds on to it for the most part here. Gets in the grass, back up on the track. Seems like everything's okay. Ooh. Maybe gets on the gas a little bit too early there and spins it out. Immediately you see him backing it down the track. Didn't mean to do that at all on purpose. Just a lot of horsepower in the cars here at Richmond, and he just spun the tires a little bit. It's almost guaranteedly what it looked like here. Watch from the cockpit view, and we'll know for sure. And watch the move, contact, everything from turn 4 on forward. There you go. There's the spin, and also right after that spin, his tires were really hot. Even less grip in the grass. Oh yeah, just shifts down to second. You just hear it, just terrible wheel spin. Immediately gets in reverse, trying to get out of the way, but by that point the caution had already flew. The rest is history. So Joshua Watson leading the way. No change since the last 2 cautions for him. Tyler Marble, though, now up to second after that move he put on Brian Curry. Brian Curry, of course, in third now. Austin Fitzgerald, 4th. Jeff Marble in 5th. Andrew Nieder at 6th. Matthew Cox in 7th. Andrew Kotzka 8th. Adrian Watson 9th. And Cody Richardson currently rounding out your top 10. Let's see if we can bring Cody into the booth real quick. Ask him how he feels about his chances the rest of the way. Hey, Cody, this is Austin up in the booth. You got a copy?
I got you, man.
Well, last time we talked to you at Richmond, it was in Victory Lane. You got the win here earlier in the season. Seems like maybe struggling just a little bit in traffic here so far tonight. Tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, you know how Hendrick Motorsports yesterday said all of us are crap and we don't really know why? Well, it's been that way all week for us, too. We've done a little bit of research, a little bit of extra building this week on the setup. Threw some new stuff at it tonight, and we're running better than we have all week long in the officials and everything. So hopefully these changes make some good progress. I'm not quite sure if I can get up there to the Watson machine up there and see if I can beat him. But hopefully we can just have a good solid finish here in the top 10 and call it a good night.
Well, we're getting a little bit of a string of cautions here. Are you looking more for the long run game here? Or would you like to see a caution towards the end?
I think I'm looking more for the long run. I think whenever that first one came out, I just started to pick up speed on the couple cars in front of me and everything. I think we're better on the long run. It's what we kind of built for, to be a little bit better on the long run tonight. So hopefully we can clean this up a little bit, string it out, and go green, and run it out from here.
Hey, sounds good. Thanks for talking to us. We know how fast you were here last time. We'll see if maybe you can find a way to do it again here tonight. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you much. Hopefully I can talk to you again later.
Sounds good. Cody Richardson, driver of the 46 for Mad Sim Racing. You see it there on his driver card, 1 win of the season, but how much would he like to add his name to the drivers with 2? Still has a couple races to do it, but he's got to feel like Richmond's one of his best shots. Green flag is back in the air. Joshua Watson off to the races again with another good jump. This time, the inside, Brian Curry doesn't get the best jump. That allows Tyler Marble to get clear. Austin Fitzgerald was almost able to jump in line as well. He couldn't quite do it. Here's the big dive down to the inside by Tyler Marble into turn 3. Gonna try to hang even with Joshua Watson. We'll see if anybody else can hang as close as Brian Curry did for as long as he did. And Brian Curry, you see, currently is side by side with second place. Third place, Austin Fitzgerald. Tyler's had a lot of speed, short and long run all night, but he seemed like he was more favorable towards the long run, at least from the way the car looked. And he's still trying to make it work, but Watson is gonna finally get clear just by about a bumper. Taking the defensive line into 1, and actually he opened the outside up for Tyler Marble. If Tyler makes this stick, oh, are you kidding me? The mind games, what an impressive move. And the driver for Team Marble iRacing, I did not see that coming. You hear of a crossover, but that was almost like a reverse crossover. Made him think he'd go to the inside. He said, I'll take the outside, and now he seems like he might have the preferred lane. Joshua Watson's going to continue to fight on the inside, and Brian Curry right here might say, hey, I remember when you didn't push me last time. I'll go ahead and help that 0-1 out. Joshua's trying to get clear. He's going to send it in, see if he can get a slide job on the 48 here. He does. Works right in front, back to the top of the track, and Joshua Watson, he is trying to put up a battle for the most laps led here tonight. He's close to, if not already taken the lead in that category. Here's Cody Richardson on the outside of Brian Coughlin and Adrian Watts. Still in 10th, looking for a little bit more here, but the 37 might be able to get by on the inside. Sure enough, he does. Alan Pajari and Thomas O'Hara just behind them. Battling for 12th. Pajari's going to slip in line just in front of the 19. That was almost some contact. There's Cody Colley. Seen him back the last couple weeks. Been fast. Bit of a struggle here tonight, but he finds himself inside the top 20. Looking for a little bit more by the end of this race. Just stuck on that outside, though. It just seems like, unless you're one of the guys in the front with the fastest setups, that outside has just not been very favorable for really anybody. Guys still trying to make it work, but at a certain point, you got to try to give it up and do everything you can to get to the inside. Just like that, Joshua Watson trying to pull away a little bit here now from Tyler Marble. Brian Curry, wonder if he's changed up the strategy here a little bit. I'm surprised to not see him closer. Maybe he's going to set himself up to see if he can go for more of a long run kind of deal this time, have more speed later in the go than early on. Realizes he's in third, no point in fighting extra hard this early. Again, not even halfway through the race yet, so still plenty of time. Still a chance at a green flag pit stop, at least one of them, potentially 2. Jeff Marble up 9 positions from where he started, and Andrew Neidhart is up 10. Let's go through your field. 34th, Sean Kaltenbach had issues earlier, is retired from the race. Brett Spott on pit road right now. Another guy involved in a wreck. Danny Gutierrez, 32nd. Jeffrey Souza in 31st. Todd Shiro in 30th. Glenn Grigsby in 29th. Matthew Gearinger, 28th. Bill Benedict, 27th. Those two battling it out right now. Cody Matthews in 26th. Kyle Oakley, 25th. It's going to be Richard Elliott now trading the positions. The Ghost Racing Network logo on the front. JBRE Racing. Kyle Oakley, 24th after his incident. Ryan Haynes in 23rd. It's going to be Andrew Russo in 22nd. Cody Colley, 21st. Jared Bundy in 20th. Jeff Shutt, 19th. Scott Glasso, 18th. Brian Watson in 17th. Jacob Musso, 16th. Brandon Ishkanin in 15th. Johnny McCulchuk, 14th. Alan Pajari, 13th. Thomas O'Hara, 12th. Cody Richardson, 11th. Brian Conklin in 10th, Adrian Watson 9th, Andrew Kotska 8th, Matthew Cox in 7th, Austin Fitzgerald 6th, Andrew Nieder 5th, Jeff Marble 4th. In your top 3, Brian Curry 3rd, Tyler Marble 2nd, and Joshua Watson still leading the way here. 75 laps of 200 completed. We are going to take a break, but we'll stay side by side so you don't miss a thing. Stick with us.
Ghost Racing Network now has merch. Go to grnmerch.com to browse our selections from stickers to custom-made by request hoodies and shirts. If you've ever wanted to support Ghost Racing Network outside of YouTube, here's your chance. Ghost Racing Network, for the scary side of iRacing.
Back live in Richmond, Virginia for the Richmond Sumer 200 for the FastTrack Sim Racing Cup Series. Tyler Marble starting to close back in on Joshua Watson, but similar to what we saw earlier when he was closing in on Brian Curry, seems like he started to struggle a little bit again. He's able to bring it to within about 5 car lengths. Cautions out. This one looking like a little bit of a bigger incident here, potentially towards the back. Ooh, we got a couple around here. Matthew Geiringer, Kyle Oakley's in this one again, and this time he does have damage. Right front is all banged up. Suspension doesn't sound too good. 17 car. Trying to see how the wheel is, but it's not looking very straight. It looks okay here, though. See how bad his damage is. Tough break for the 17, but let's take a look what goes wrong here. Ooh. Is Kyle going to get loose by himself here, potentially? This was off a 2. We've seen this happen a couple times. Or was he actually exiting the pits? No, he was not. This happens way, way back. All the way at the start of turn 1. Let's go to the blimp cam. See if we can break this one down. Does he just get in a little too hot? Oh, actually, there's some contact entering the corner between him and the 88. Does the 88 come down or does the 17 come up? The 88 car, of course, Andrew Russo. And watch closely here. Looks like... Yeah, to be honest, it looks like Kyle turns in just a little bit late, at least if you base it off the 2 cars in front. Nothing too egregious, but the 88 might have expected him to turn down, so he comes down a bit, gets into the side of Kyle. That sends Kyle sideways, has a great save, does a little Tokyo drift, gets on the apron, seems okay. The transition is where he starts to struggle. I think he just gets in the throttle too early, unfortunately gets sideways. Back up the track, clips Matthew Geiringer, and then Bill Benedict. Didn't have anywhere to go either. Might have been one of the longest wrecks I've ever seen here at Richmond. Wreck that never was really a wreck, but unfortunately, yeah, it just gets in the throttle just a little bit too early right there, I think. It's just hard as a driver. You make a mistake and you're just so focused on trying to get back on the track and lose as little time as possible. And fortunately, a little mistake like that could cost Kyle Oakley what was looking like it could potentially shape up for a really good finish for him. And here's a ride on board Watch the save here. Does an amazing job. Gets off the throttle, finally hooks up. Transition. Yeah, man. He didn't even do anything that you would think would make it that loose. He was in 4th gear. And that's just how bad the tires had been worn, I guess. That is a really, really tough break. Skitter and Matthew Gehringer, both of those guys went to the pits. So back live, looks like Kyle Oakley is back out on the track. Not sure how many laps he lost, if any, from it. He definitely lost some. Yeah, sure enough. He's going to lose at least one, maybe a couple here. Yeah, 2 laps. We're starting to mix up the pit strategies here quite a bit as we get the 1-to-go signal. 85 laps in of 200. Still, again, plenty of time. We're not even halfway just yet. But it's looking less and less likely like we're going to see a green flag stop. It's only going to take maybe 1 or 2 more cautions if they're slightly spread out, and we could very well have a sprint to the finish. A longer sprint in terms of maybe more like 40 laps or so, but you just never know with these guys. Cautions seem to breed cautions, but it really hasn't seemed to be that way tonight in the sense of it's not been any big pile-up wrecks. It's just been little mistakes here and there that you kind of expect from Richmond. Now, the incident count was lower tonight, so if guys keep making mistakes, they will get DQ'd a lot quicker than they would in a normal race. Not a concern right now, though, for your leader, Joshua Watson. He takes the green flag. Tyler Marble and his teammate now, Jeff Marble, see if they can do a little tag team action here on the leader. They both get lined up out of 2, and Tyler Marble already making a charge. Big hit out back. Andrew Nieder. How many more is he going to collect? There's the 72 of Johnny McCulloch, the 88's in it. 36 was the first one to spin. Took a hard hit into the outside wall. And we have got a lot of broken automobiles right now. Kyle Oakley, was he involved in this one again? Man. 5th yellow of the night. Things are starting to get a little bit messy as this one looks really messy. 3 wide. First time we've caught it really on broadcast here tonight. And these guys decided they were ready to try it. Unfortunately, I think if they were allowed to think again, they would have thought twice about it because it's going to end up not working here. Down in the corner, pretty good. Everybody's giving each other space. And, you know, it kind of looks like the 72 of Johnny McCulloch comes down a little bit here. He's making the corner. Maybe he thinks they're too wide. Not sure. But, yeah, 72 just comes down. Eventually gets into Alan Pajari. And then Andrew Nader is just going to be the innocent victim. But he's going to take probably the hardest hit. Was there indeed contact here? There was. That turns them both up. Yeah, it's a big hit. Actually, Johnny McCulloch's going to get the worst of it. And then Ryan Haynes, Cody Colley, just guys with nowhere to go. Just piling in. Couple more angles of it. Yeah, the 88 to the inside. That collects Cody Matthews. A couple other guys maybe involved. And Glenn Grigsby, he was able to sneak by. The positive side of that. Give you one more shot of it here. All right, so 5th caution of the night, and that one may have been, I think we'll classify that as the big one here at Richmond. Collected probably about 5 cars or so. And it looks like Dwayne Simmons says, can we get a look at that 10 car? That's one pretty paint scheme. We sure can. Let's go back and check it out. Cody Matthews with the Buckies. The Buckies all the way. I think he's had this paint scheme the whole season, and it's always a classic. I go to college up in Daytona. We got one of the Buckies there. Pretty cool place and a pretty cool paint scheme as well for Cody Matthews. Give you a couple more shots of it here. Fortunately, getting in that last wreck isn't going to help his finish to show off that paint, but don't think he got too bad of damage. I think he'll be okay. Been a pretty crazy night at Richmond so far, as it was the first time we were here. This one might be shaping up to get a little bit crazier, but you never know, again, what you're going to get. There's Richard Elliott, another one of my favorite paint schemes in the field. Got the big Ghost Racing Network logo on the front hood, and he got himself some Ghost Racing Network merchandise as well. I believe the first and only guy as of right now over here in the FastTrack Sim Racing Cup Series to get himself some. Go check it out. We got the links everywhere if you need one, because you can't find one. I guess just let me know. But got myself a little t-shirt here. Wear around the apartment and when we're doing some of these broadcasts. Pretty cool stuff. Like to support the brand. And Dwayne Simmons says 19, not 10. Well, Dwayne, now you got to let me know if you were watching the broadcast earlier, because I gave the 19 a shout out already. By all means, I'm happy to go back and show it again, but we already talked about this. He had one of my favorite paint schemes. That is a good-looking Team Watson Racing. Man, love the colors on it. I think him and Danny Gutierrez were my top 2 tonight. I think Danny Gutierrez beats it out just a little bit, but it is not by much. And quick mention, Brandon, one of the guys carrying an onboard camera here for us tonight. See how he can finish up here. Looking for the green flag again as the pace car pulls off. Tyler Marble gets a better start this time. Not going to let Joshua Watson just pull away. And they are going to be side by side down into the corner. This could certainly shake some things up. Tyler Marble's trying to hang on the right rear. He's able to do so. No real side drafts. Really anything you can get here. Jonathan McCulchuk still sits on pit road. That was your quick update on that. And wow, just like that, one more set of corners, and all of a sudden Joshua Watson finds his way back around Tyler Marble, and he is back out in front. Still side by side further towards the mid-pack. Matthew Cox, the rookie, looking to the inside. Brian Conklin as well. To the inside of the 03 of Adrian Watts. Wild to think how much these guys can slide without hitting each other. Ooh, 37. Brian Conklin with a really close call. All of a sudden you saw towards the bottom of your camera a car dart to the left off the screen. That was indeed Brian Conklin. He's going to get turned into the outside wall. Brian Watson, the other one involved. Caution back in the air, 6th caution. And they both kind of gathered up to keep moving forward, but Brian Conklin can't be too happy about that one. And man, starting to run a little more pace laps here than we've ran green flag laps. Hoping everybody can simmer down a little bit here. But again, there's been, most of the wrecks tonight have seemed like something has happened as a prelude to the wreck. And then the wreck either ensues right after, or even, as we've seen a couple times, a set of corners after. Let's back this all the way up to the first incident here for Brian Conklin. It even causes him to get back here. Side by side with Adrian Watts. Just gets loose to the inside. Does a great job saving it. But look at all the positions he loses. Probably about 6 spots or so. And where does he get it back? Right in front here of Brian Watson, who's to the outside, the 37. Jumping high. The 4 thinks he's there and clips him on the right side. Doesn't work out too well. Might have been some more contact there from that view. Let's see. Let's watch from TV1. And I think that it's hard to say. I want to look at this from the chopper one more time. I think the 04 felt like he had a run, and when he saw the 37 stay high here for a little bit longer, he thought maybe he was leaving it open. But now from this view, play it slow for me, it looks a little different. Now watch the 04. Look how close he gets to the wall here. Almost, if not quite, touches it. So I think what actually happens here is he thinks he's going to hit the outside wall, so he turns left. And he was so close that that left turn, what would normally be a square hit to the back bumper of the 37, ends up being more of a offset hit, and that's what turns to 37. And then, here's the 3 of Todd Shiro. Just nothing he could do either. He makes contact with Brian Conklin. One more look at it from the cockpit view here of Brian. Just gets turned around. And a little bump right back up to speed. Dwayne Simmons says, I wasn't. Oh, I think he meant to say I wasn't. Saying if you said I won, I'm not sure what that was in reference to, but I wasn't watching. I had, what does it say here? I had a race car on display at church for VBS. That's pretty sick. Not only to have a race car, to have it on display at church. How about it? Well, if you missed out on the other guy that we were talking about with a beautiful paint scheme, it's this man right here, Danny Gutierrez. Look at this thing. I feel like you don't see that many abstract schemes anymore in iRacing, and a lot of times when you do, they just don't work that well. The colors don't seem to mix together, but not in this case. That is a good looking 08 Ford Mustang. Danny, hopefully he's showing that off for the rest of the season. Your Daytona 250 winner, got it at the beginning of the season. Has had a couple races where he's really looked like he's had a shot from there, but things just have not worked out for him. It's not looking great for his chances here tonight either, as it stands right now. See if we get the one to go signal this time, and it looks like, sure enough, we are, so we're going to hold off from any interviews. And when we get the restart here, we will officially be halfway through the 200-lap event. Richmond is not a personal favorite for me, I got to be honest. These guys, though, especially your top 5 making the battles for the lead, have made it a lot more exciting than I was thinking it'd be. I didn't think... I mean, when we came here last time, it just wasn't all that racy. We heard Tyler Marble say last week it's going to be tough to pass. And while it has been, there's been guys making it work. And that's what always keeps it fun, keeps it entertaining, and that's why we always get to see the best of the best here in the FastTrack Sim Racing Cup Series. Don't forget, if you're interested in joining, we got links for that as well. If you need any help, just ask. Got it in the description, and I'd be happy to message it to you through Discord as well. Green flag back in the air. Tyler Marble's going to get another good jump to hang alongside Joshua Watson. Last time Watson was able to prevail before they made it through the first lap of the restart. We'll see if he can do it again. This time Matthew Cox washes up a little bit. Oh, some contact there between your two leaders. They're going to give each other a little bit of extra room going down into 3 as they made it felt a little bit too close for comfort. Watson's going to bail out of it. That allows Marble to get the momentum. And he's going to get cleared. Does he cut him off? He doesn't. He's going to stay respectful. And man, I think he was clear, but he left that lane open just long enough. More rubbing door to door here off of turn 2. Tyler Marble wants it. Joshua Watson doesn't want to give it away. And you got to wonder, how long can these two go at it? There's Tyler Marble in the bottom left. And there's Joshua Watson as well with them. In fact, let's take a look here at Joshua Watson. Look how smooth this guy's wheel is right here. I mean, just ever so slight movements. Doesn't really have to catch it. Tells you the car's handling pretty good. Kyle Oakley losing another lap here. So they all pass him on the outside. Wondered if that would hurt anybody, but doesn't seem like it will. Further back, Austin Fitzgerald, is he thinking about 3 wide? No, he's going to stay patient here as he sticks behind Jared Bundy. Saw Jared Bundy in a spin earlier. In fact, I believe it was the first caution was the one that the 6 was involved in. Looks like Kyle Oakley's still getting lapped. Just going to just stay as far down to the inside as possible. They were about to go 3 wide. He thought better, made sure he pulled all the way off the track. Richard Elliott trying to hold off the 6 on the outside, but he's going to get a loose, has to get out of it. And here comes the convoy. Everybody to the inside. The 47, the 4, the 04. There's the 46 of Cody Richardson. Disappeared a little bit there after we had the strand of cautions. He is just inside the top 20 right now. Ryan Haynes just behind them. But man, these guys back here, this is the most racy we have seen them be all night. Everybody still fighting for that position. You never know when the next caution is going to come out. Some of these guys may even have had fresh tires, and they wanted to try to take as much advantage as possible of them. We got one blinking. I think that's Matthew Cox. In fact, he may have just blinked out. Yellow flag is out. Good for it. It's for Matthew Gearinger, 31. He is spun on the backstretch. Cody Richardson's involved in this one as well. He's got some damage to the right front. And it looks like so does Matthew Gearinger. Oh, he's got damage to the entire front. Off of turn 2, a little bit further up on your screen here. So I think Cody's going to be the first one to go around. And it's just going to, we've seen it a lot here. Out of 2, the only question is going to be, does he get help? They think about 3 wide. Yeah, Cody's just coming up a little bit soon. You know, I'm kind of shocked at this point in the corner that Brian was going up. I take that back. It's another tough call. It just looks like, you know, maybe Cody thought he was going up a little sooner. So Cody started going up, or maybe Cody just got tight and goes up. Ryan Watson's there, and that sends the 46 into the outside wall pretty hard. Matthew Gearinger gets involved. Kyle Oakley, just insult to injury at this point. He has not had a good night ever since he was involved in the first wreck, and it's not getting any better since. Once these two wreck, just nowhere to go for a couple of guys. Wow. Was that Ryan Haynes or Brett Spott? Somebody just barely snuck by. There's Cody Richardson spinning down to the inside, and of course Matthew Geiringer, who had nowhere to go. Let's see a couple more views of it here. First from the static. Take a look from the cockpit next. It's a pretty good hit too for both of those guys, but man, I do not know how the 35 of Brett Spott found a way to make it through this. Excuse me, not Brett Spott, Ryan Haynes. Similar paint schemes, got them mixed up a little bit. Brett is currently still sitting in the pits, as you saw there, but Ryan Haynes, watch this onboard view. This is wild. I don't know how he doesn't make contact with any of them right here. It's going to happen right in front of him, just about. There's the turn, wall shot, can't even see it. Oh man, Smoke could not see anything. Holy moly. Close call for sure. Everybody gets it sorted out there. So Matthew Cox being scored as your leader, Alan Pajari second, Brian Curry third, Austin Fitzgerald fourth, Andrew Kotska fifth, Scott Glasso sixth, Jared Bundy seventh, Bill Benedict eighth, Thomas O'Hara ninth, and Ryan Haynes rounding out your top 10. And we're starting to see a lot of strategy mix up. We had guys that decided to pit, guys that decided to not pit, and it is certainly making things interesting. Let's give a shout out to some of the guys that are also carrying onboard cams for us here tonight. Of course, there is Ryan Haynes, who had the wicked save. One of the BMP drivers. He's had a couple good runs this season. 2 top 10s, driver out of Center Hill, Florida. We appreciate him carrying one of the onboard cams for us here tonight. The other 2 guys carrying the onboard cam, Johnny McCulchuk. We're still trying to set up. Tell you what, this guy has got easily the coolest setup that I personally have ever seen. To be honest, I would say one of the coolest setups you guys would ever see as well. I don't know if you can make it out here. Again, the camera looks a little blurry. Not sure if it's not focusing or what, but he's inside a real chassis right now. I think he's got half of a modified. And he's got it all built, the rigs, everything all built into it. It is sweet. Got the window net and everything. You see, that's where he races inside of it. Jeff Marble, surprised we haven't showed him yet tonight. He's one of the guys that's going to be on new tires here, and they're going to be fun to watch. Try to claw and scratch their way through the field, but he's got an onboard cam for us here tonight as we're getting ready to go back green. We talked about Richard Elliott. Had an onboard cam as well, and Brian Watson, whose night has all of a sudden here just recently started to not go so well. He's another one of the guys carrying an onboard cam for us here tonight. Back up front, green flag is back in the air. Matthew Cox with a pretty good jump over Alan Pajari, but we're going to have to go to a wider cam for this one because we're going to have to keep an eye on everybody. New tires on back. You know the new tires want to get up there as soon as possible. Joshua Watson, how quick and how impatient is he with the rest of these guys to get through? 3 wide in the middle between Cody Matthews and Glenn Grigsby. Gets by the 10, and man, look at the difference. Just looks like he's on tires with glue or something on him. The rest of these guys look like they're on ice. Glenn Grigsby sliding up a little bit, but the 01 on the outside continuing to work his teammate. Meanwhile, the 03 of Adrian Watts just got out of the 3 wide scenario. And there's Jeff Marble still in the mix between the 19 and the 95. And Joshua Watson, he did a great job on that restart. You really got to make quick use of these tires while they're fresh. You need to get as many spots as possible before things start to get really separated. And Joshua Watson's biggest friend right here would probably be another caution, to be honest. But who knows here, if they have less tire sets than your leaders, maybe not. All part of the strategy that's playing out right under our noses right now. Down to the inside of Thomas O'Hara and Bill Benedict. Bill's got to be careful here. He's going to say you got a mirror full of 2 really fast cars. You may not want to think about blocking it too much right here. And Tyler Marble is indeed fast. You see he's just following him through. It almost looks like follow the leader. But everybody is following Matthew Cox right now as he still leads the way, getting a couple laps led here so far tonight. And he is hoping probably that Joshua Watson and Tyler Marble get trapped back there for quite some time. Alan Pajari has settled into second, his highest running position of the night, up 30 from where he started. Brian Curry in third, Austin Fitzgerald fourth. And Andrew Kotska, Scott Glasso going to go to battle here on the front stretch. Watson trying to get to the inside of Jared Bundy. Looks like he's going to get it. Tyler Marble's going to get an arc to try to follow in suit. I'm surprised Tyler has not thought about 3 wide here. But again, showing the patience, showing why he's got 2 wins on the season, because he's willing to be patient. You take it 3 wide there, maybe it does get a little awkward. Things don't work out. But played it safe. Things did work out. You might be wondering why we're not showing the leaders too right now. Well, we're keeping an eye on these guys because they are the first 2 on the freshest tires, I should say. And we're curious just how quick they can get back to the front. They have been running the leader down, but still pretty slowly, about a 1.5 seconds behind Matthew Cox, who has not really been able to pull away from Alan Pajari. In fact, Brian Curry as well, he is trying to make it a 3-way battle for the lead. I would say Lightning McQueen in the middle, Dynaco out back, but I think Joshua Watson's got the more Dynaco-looking paint scheme. 3-way battle for the lead there. Joshua Watson now looks to the inside of Andrew Kotska, who's going to get tight. That'll make the pass a little bit easier for the 0-1. And speaking of passing, it seems like it's gotten better throughout the race. I mean, looking at the weather, track temp was really hot to start. And if it has cooled down, it has not cooled down much at all. In fact, it almost seems like maybe it heated up. Can't remember if we started at 112 or 115. Winds, of course, at 8 miles an hour. And in sim time right now, it is 415. Just about the hottest part of the day. And Alan Pajari to the inside of your leader now. 120 laps in. This would be the first laps tonight. Alan Pajari could lead. Brian Curry still there in the mix. Joshua Watson now all the way up into 5th position and climbing. Let's see if we can get a comparison. See if we can get a comparison between the lap times here. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to. So there's your leader, Alan Pajari. Can we compare that back here to Joshua Watson, who sits in 5th? Ooh, unfortunately we cannot. The point is he's tracking him down. And Matthew Cox, boy, when he lost first, seems like his car is swinging in the wrong direction in quite a hurry here. Back to 3rd, and he looks like he's in danger of losing a couple more. Tyler Marble, meanwhile, got stuck back here in a 3-wide situation. Not sure if he messed up or what, but Scott Glass and Andrew Kotska both trying to get back to the inside of him. There's a 27 of Jeff Shutt and Jacob Musso. Ooh, the 90 of Bill Benedict washed up the track. Almost got into the side, maybe even did make a little contact with the side of Thomas O'Hara. You could tell guys are getting antsy. I would predict at this point in the race, maybe one more pit stop. Don't hold me to it. I think we would definitely see one more pit stop, assuming we go the rest of the way green, even if we have a caution. But you can make it from fuel on here, but man, tires would really be stretching it. I think to keep it realistic, we're going to have to get somewhere to probably around lap 150. Maybe around lap 160 even, for these guys to all feel confident in making it the rest of the way on the set of tires that they'll be on. So they go around the lap car of Jeffrey Souza. How about a little FastTrack Sim Racing Cup Series crank it up here from Richmond? Here we go. And that's going to do it for tonight's segment of Crank It Up. I hope everybody did enjoy. We saw quite a close moment for the 03 of Adrian Watts. Not sure if there was some contact or if he had gotten loose off to it. It looked like they were 3 wide. They all managed to save it, though, courtesy of the save from the 03. We let everybody else behind to keep their stuff in check. And we were able to stay green, but 70 laps to go at a lot of tracks. You know, it's still a pretty long ways to go, of course. Here, 70 miles at Richmond. Actually a bit under, but it's going to go by quick. The lap times are pretty speedy. See, these guys do run 23-second laps. Not that much longer, but right now I think everybody's just setting themselves up for that pit stop. Joshua Watson knocking on the back door here of Brian Curry, and this could get very interesting as well right here. I'm not sure if these two are on the same tire strategy or not. Joshua Watson's on newer tires. Not sure if Brian Curry was one of those that went in as well and had just ended up winning the race out of pit road. Joshua Watson's looking like he's going to be able to work around him here without too much of a fuss. But I want to put a scenario in place here. Let's say the 28's got older tires right here. Both of them still have a set of tires left. This is what we're assuming. Now, if one of them doesn't, then the strategy's off. If that were to be the case, and we see another pit stop, if you're Brian Curry, I think you have to go in really early here, as early as you feel that you can make it the rest of the way on the tires, before you lose too much now to Joshua Watson. And if you're Watson, it's going to be a little bit closer on whether or not you have to pit again, but I think with the fall off, you have to. Question is just going to be when. Here's Adrian Watts side by side right now with Andrew Kotska. The 03 looking to the inside, and he might be the first driver all night that when they've had an incident, they've been able to somehow keep going and not wrecking the next couple laps following. Back a little bit further, there's Cody Matthews to the inside of Jared Bundy. Both of these guys been involved in a couple of wrecks here tonight. Nothing of their causing. Just innocent bystanders. Todd Shiro still has a little bit of damage to the front end from what he sustained earlier when he hit Brian Conklin in the back on that wreck. And Conklin, see, he's still got some right front damage. He currently sits in 22nd, down a spot from where he started. But up front, how about Joshua Watson? Talk about if he wins tonight, be his 9th win on the season, and all of a sudden going for double digits in terms of wins in the regular season looks a lot more likely, as he could go for 10 within one of the next couple weeks before the playoffs start. Brian Curry's been coming to life too, though. Blew us away last week, had great short run speed, good long run speed as well. Was able to find himself the win. Austin Fitzgerald in 3rd. Tyler Marble 4th. Alan Pajari in 5th, up 27 still from where he started. Seems like that strategy's working out pretty well. Jeff Marble in 6th. Scott Glasso 7th. Adrian Watts still hanging on to the top 10 in 8th. Andrew Kotska 9th. And Jacob Musso currently rounding out your top 10. Jeff Shutton 11th. Moving on back to 12th, it's going to be Brandon Ishkanine. Thomas O'Hara 13th. Matthew Cox 14th. Bill Benedict in 15th. Ryan Haynes in 16th. Brian Watson 17th. Richard Elliott in 18th. Cody Matthews 19th. Todd Shiro in 20th. Brian Conklin 21st. Jared Bundy 22nd. Glenn Grigsby 23rd. Cody Colley 24th. Matthew Geiringer in 25th. Jeffrey Souza 26th. Andrew Russo 27th. Danny Gutierrez 28th. Johnny McCulchuk back in here, sits in 29th. Cody Richardson, tough break for him, has retired in 30th. And 31st, 32nd, 33rd, and 34th have all retired from the race. So we will not bother mentioning too much about it. All guys collected in something at some point during this race. Joshua Watson working his way around some lap traffic, a common theme that he might have to deal with some more of here before this race is over, with still 60 laps to go, now 59. I don't think he's going to be able to run the rest of this race without encountering at least a string of lap traffic at some point. And you see the first bulk of it is in turn 3, as he is actually out of turn 4 as he's halfway down the backstretch. At the pace he's running, I certainly do think that he will probably catch them eventually. All things considered, Brian Curry right now only a second and 2/10 back. I feel like isn't that bad, especially if he is indeed on older tires, which I think he is. He's doing a pretty good job holding his own up here. I'm trying to think when we'll see that final pit stop. I feel like you'd kind of assume, again, if you're Brian Curry, I think you run the risk of as soon as you feel like you can make it the rest of the way on tires, you got to go, which maybe somewhere around lap 160. Again, maybe a little after. It's all going to depend on the comfort level that these guys feel. The grip that they feel is out there on the track right now, and how much of it there is that they can use for how long. All this while driving at 150 miles an hour at the end of the straightaway. Or like 130. Let's not get too egregious. Either way, while these guys are all single file and pretty calm, let's take a look at where we head next, point situations, etc. So Joshua Watson took back over the points lead from Jeff Marble, who sits second. Tyler Marble in third, Austin Fitzgerald fourth, Cody Richardson fifth, Alan Pajari in sixth, going to be Andrew Kotska in seventh, Andrew Niedert eighth, Bill Benedict ninth, and Tracy Powers rounding out your top 10. And I just realized I was muted there for a second. Please let me know in the chat how long it was. Hopefully it wasn't too long at all, but caution is out. This is going to throw a wrench in everybody's strategy. Just as we were talking about points, we're going to finish talking about the points real quick before we go check out the caution. Joshua Watson leads with Jeff Marble in a second, and I was going to say pretty close second, but in second nonetheless. Tyler Marble third, Austin Fitzgerald fourth, Cody Richardson in fifth, Alan Pajari sixth, Andrew Kotska seventh, Niedert, Benedict, and Powers all rounding out your top 10. Next two tracks, circle them on your calendar if you like watching sim racing. They are going to be good ones. Michigan, the big two-mile D-shaped oval next week, followed by Indianapolis. That is going to be a good one as well. 80 laps there before we head to the road course, where road course specialist Tyler Marble got the job done. Is Sonoma, the only other road course we've been to so far this season. We'll see if he can maybe get another one. And then the wild card, the final race to decide who's in, who's out, what better track and place to do it than under the lights at the World Center of Racing, Daytona International Speedway. And you got to think about this strategy. If we have somebody that's up in points, meets all the rest of the criteria, but is currently outside of playoff contention, and they win that race, which they very well could, the great equalizer, then all of a sudden we very well could see a new person make their way into the round of 16, kick somebody out that might have been in just about the whole season. No bull race to start off the playoffs with Darlington, and a no bull race just after Kansas, the second race in the playoffs. For the third race of the playoffs, the Bristol night race. That is going to be another fun one. 250 laps. Going to feel like a long one. Last thing that we got to go over here before we go and take a look back to caution is playoff standings. Watson leads that battle. Marble second, Jeff Marble third. Brian Conklin, Johnny McCulchuk, the two guys right plus minus one in the sense of right on that cut line. So this battle progresses as we go on. Okay, back to full screen. Let's go back and take a look at what brought out the yellow here. Jeffries, who's on the outside. Ooh, contact below him, actually. Cody Colley, this starts back in turn one as well. Boy, I've been saying that quite a bit tonight. Just seems to keep happening. Let's look from the blimp cam. Yeah, the 11, Cody Colley's able to drive it in pretty deep. Ooh, maybe just a slight lockup. Gets up into the 96 down the track into Matthew Gearinger. That sends a couple of them around. No real big hits, but some hurt feelings. So 31 backs it into the outside wall. Actually, the 96, pretty good shot with the rear end. I take that back. And then final view of it here before we get ready to go back green. And Souza wasn't going to quite make it out of it there. Almost. Unfortunately, just not quite. Okay. So I think we may have had everybody come down and take what I believe would be the final set of tires. I think Joshua Watson and the rest of these guys took that. And on fuel, you can make it by plenty from this point. It's just a matter of the tires going to have to stretch a little bit longer here 50 laps, I think everybody will be okay, but if we were to go green, that is a long run. Even if we don't go green, I still think it's at that length where if you somehow have saved a set of tires and you have that set left, take those if we get a caution anywhere with probably under 30 to go, and you very well might find yourself in victory lane for this race. It's going to get exciting as we are now officially into the final stretch here, last quarter of the race, over 75% of the way through. Richmond has been quite a chaotic one here tonight. Already 8 cautions, and we still have just under 50 laps if we want a couple more. But Joshua Watson, I think he would like to see himself get out in front and just cruise on into the sunset and collect his 9th win of the season. Fitzgerald, though, is not going to let him have it too easy. Green flag is back in the air. 48 laps to go at Richmond. Good restart for about the whole field. Everybody side by side into one, but Fitzgerald's going to give up that position pretty quick. We know Austin likes to focus more on the long run here, but he's going to battle him a little bit. Took a peek to the inside. Felt like the door was cracked. He tried to open it. Joshua Watson said no thank you. Slams the door on him. And that might almost caught Joshua Watson off guard, but nice defense there. And he is going to try to pull away as he will see a little bit of battling start going on in his rear view mirror. Looks like Brian Curry's going to get clear of the 95. Alan Pajari's trying to follow in suit. The 03 of Adrian Watts to the inside. Jacob Musso has had a strong run tonight, but right here he finds himself trapped on the outside. Not too many other guys out there, kind of no man's land, and there he goes. He's going to hop right back into the inside, and he feels a lot more comfortable now. He's going to take a breath. We'll see if he can regroup. Looks like, is that Cody Colley to the inside? Yes, it is. Not sure if he had an issue off of 2 or what happened. Back up front, Joshua Watson has about a 4 to 5 car length lead over second place Austin Fitzgerald, who's getting a lot of heat to his back bumper right now from Tyler Marble. You can tell Tyler's antsy. He wants this position. Tyler is a lot better in the braking zone. It seems like Fitzgerald gets off the corner pretty good, though. In fact, maybe pulls just a little bit on him. The different lines follow in suit with the different setups. But looking, Jeff Marble just behind his teammate, and there's Brian Curry for Team Watson Racing. Alan Pajari just behind him, and Pajari playing a little bit of strategy when he did, and then getting that caution cut him a big break. I think it really helped him out, as now he is still up 26 from where he started, running inside the top 6, just outside the top 5. Getting back further towards the back. I think everybody's gotten sorted out this time. It seemed pretty crazy right off the jump, but a lot of patience shown on this restart. But I think Tyler Marble is starting to run out of patience. I think he's faster than Austin Fitzgerald, but he just could not find a way around. He finally is going to be able to have a chance out of here as he gets to the inside. How hard does Austin fight him for it? I feel like if you're the 74 and you don't think you have a shot at the leader, maybe you think about letting him go. But if you feel like you either do have a shot at the leader or you feel like you really need these points, you battle him pretty hard. But it looks like he gave him a run for his money in a set of corners or 2. And now he says, I'm just going to let you go ahead and go by. See if I can fend off the rest of these cats. Jeff Marble to his inside. Going to be coming to 40 laps to go here at the line. Still the final stretch, but once we get to 25 to go, that's always the number. You start making a name for it. The Ghost Racing Network 25 to go, or whatever you want to call it, because that is always go time at just about any track we're at. Richmond, it might be even a little sooner than that, but that's when we're going to call it. And now that Tyler Marble did get by Austin Fitzgerald, he has got all eyes out the front windshield, and he is going to see if he can set his sights and track down Joshua Watson. Heartbreak for any Cody Richardson fans out there, of course, because as good of a run as he had last time we were here, got the win. He is in 30th position, down 19 from where he had started the night out at, and he is not even on the track right now. Had to retire from damage or other technical difficulties. But boy, Joshua Watson just looks so comfortable. It's the best way to put it out front. Watch him work the wheel here. Let's pull up some telemetry for him. There's the dashboard. Just look how smooth the wheel is here. doesn't even look like he's getting loose at all. I'm telling you what, I think he's going to let us know this in the post-race interviews, because I'm sure we'll be talking to him from what we're seeing so far. That car has been a rock ship tonight. Now, don't get me wrong. It takes a great car and a great driver. But there's been some nights where we've seen Joshua Watson just wheel and deal the thing to get it done. Tonight, he's been driving the heck out of it, but it has just looked really comfortable. I mean, look at it. Sticks to 3 and 4. Not really any wheel movement here. That also comes from throttle control, but the 01 got the lead at about a second right now over Tyler Marble. Tyler Marble, on the other hand, let's take a ride on board. Yeah, I tell you what, he's working the wheel a lot more. He is definitely that setup, maybe not feeling quite as comfortable here, at least when it comes to off the corners. He might have that thing set up really loose too. We know that loose is fast, but sometimes there's a sweet spot for it, and I think Joshua Watson has found that sweet spot. But Marble's trying to track him down. He's got it down to about 0.8 of a second, running a different line. And we've seen this a couple times now tonight from Tyler. Starts tracking down the leader, but he's only been able to get it up to probably about 0.2 when we've actually seen this kind of run for Tyler on the longer runs. And then he just either slipped up or gets caught up in the dirty air or something, and then he starts to fade. We'll see if he can maybe close out and give us a battle to the finish. Again, no scheduled pit stops the rest of the way. Just kind of expecting a 33-lap sprint to the finish. Actually, it was more like 50-lap sprint, just under 48 when we had went back green. We talked about how quick laps are ticking off. We have already ticked off over 10 laps since we went back green. If you're just tuning in, you picked a pretty good time to do it. But if you're just tuning in, maybe go grab yourself one more drink of water before you stay for the finish. We're going to take a quick break. We will stay side by side, though, so you don't miss a thing. We'll be right back at Richmond.
Ghost Racing Network now has merch. Go to grnmerch.com to browse our selections from stickers to custom-made by request hoodies and shirts. If you've ever wanted to support Ghost Racing Network outside of YouTube, here's your chance. Ghost Racing Network, for the scary side of iRacing.
Back live at Richmond Raceway for the Richmond Sumer 200. Out in front, the man that's led the most laps all night, JBR E-Racing's Joshua Watson. He's looking to close the deal off here, and in just 2 laps, he will be at that crucial mark of 25 laps to go. And that's when, as a driver, the laps start to feel like they're getting really long if you're the leader. And if you're in second, Tyler Marble, they feel like they're not long enough. You're trying everything to catch up. We'll see if he can somehow dig a little deeper and find something. His teammate, Jeff Marble. Jeff's been having a great run here tonight. He's looking for a podium finish. The only thing that hurts Jeff here, doesn't hurt him specifically, but hurts his chances of moving up at all in the points battle, which he sits second in right now, is that the man he's trying to pass is leading the race. So Joshua Watson, if he can finish this thing off, certainly won't lose anything in terms of the lead that he does have over Jeff Marble. But Jeff will be more than happy to take any points he can get going into the playoffs, and any points to see. You never know. It only takes one bad race Jeff Marble had a bad race. I believe it was last week. The week before he got in a couple wrecks. Things didn't work out. Austin Fitzgerald in 5th. Looking like this could be a good finish for him as well. You know, Austin Fitzgerald, I know I've probably mentioned it a couple times through the season, but I'm going to mention it a couple more times before we're done. He really was one of the guys that shocked me. I mean, out of the gate, you know, I felt like all these guys are really talented, but I felt like he wasn't maybe one of the strongest picks for the championship. But he came to life after he got that win at Atlanta, and he has not slowed down since. And I would definitely consider him a top 4 favorite. And, of course, if you get in the top 4, then you automatically give yourself a chance at going for that championship. Musso slow on the front stretch, no caution. We stay green. Joshua Watson is saying, please get that thing back rolling and please make it back to the pits. 22 laps to go. In fact, there goes your leader. And Musso's got heavy damage. He hit something with some force right here. Let's see what exactly he does hit, though. This happens pretty far back. What in the world? This started on the backstretch. Off of turn 2 by himself, and he's just going to get a little loose, overcorrects it, and oh, big shot into the outside. We have seen that a couple times tonight. Down to the apron, almost clips Thomas O'Hara. Thomas does a great job hanging on to it. And now Jacob's just trying to get to the apron to save it. Spins it out across the grass. But it was far enough off the track down by the inside wall that iRacing did not deem it necessary to throw a caution. He was able to keep it off the racing surface. Fortunately, going to bring his night to an end as he heads to the pits. But all good news for Joshua Watson. Want these laps to continue to tick down. Going to go through your running order one final time before we keep it up front the rest of the way. Sean Kaltenbach, Brett Spott, Andrew Nieder, Kyle Oakley, Cody Richardson, and Matthew Gearinger, Andrew Russo as well, Cody Colley, Johnny McCalchuk, Jeffrey Souza, all guys not on the lead lap, 25th through 34th, and I think 9 out of those 10 guys or so that I named are all actually off track and have retired from the race. Danny Gutierrez in 24th. He's got the good-looking paint scheme on tonight. 23rd just in front of him, Jared Bundy not being shown on the track. Jacob Musso, 22nd, making his way back out onto the track. There's Brian Watson in 21st. We'll take a pause real quick on Brian, one of the drivers we talked about carrying an onboard camera for us here tonight. He's working the wheels. He's got the gloves. Boy, he's got a huge steering wheel. You can see how much steering he's got to put into it, too. Scott Glasso in front of him in 20th. Todd Shiro in 19th. Richard Elliott, another one of our drivers carrying an onboard cam tonight. Got one of the really nice setups that we get to see out here. He sits in 18th position. Good comeback after falling outside the top 20 a couple times tonight. Glenn Grigsby just in front of him, 17th. Cody Matthews, 16th. Brian Conklin in 15th. Bill Benedict in 14th. How about Ryan Haynes? Currently sits in that 13th position. Another guy carrying an onboard cam for us here tonight. Brandon just in front of him in 12th. Almost in your top 10, just outside of it, though. In 11th is going to be Matthew Cox. Andrew Kotska in 10th. Thomas O'Hara 9th. Be a good finish for him if he can get it done. Same deal for Jeff Shutt, who's in 8th. Adrian Watson 6th. Adrian Watson 7th. Alan Pajari 6th. Austin Fitzgerald 5th. Brian Curry in 4th. But he's going to take that spot from Tyler Marble, who had a big slip-up off of turn 2. And he got passed by his teammate, the 28, and now potentially the 74 as well. He's trying to battle back. But the handling on the 48 seems like it was more set up for short-run speed because that thing gets really loose on the long run. And it has bit him a couple times tonight. Let's ride on board for a lap or so here. And I'm not sure how we can see the wheel in real life, but try to watch his hands. He is just not liking the handling. You see he gets in, but it's just sideways. Middle of the corner, and then, man, when it's time to get off of it, it is just all over the place. Yeah, he is losing ground in a hurry here. And it's hard, man. Once it gets to that point where there's just, you feel like there's no grip, you're on ice, you're just trying everything to find some sort of rhythm. Austin Fitzgerald, he's got no problem finding a rhythm right now. Sits just in front of Tyler Marble after making that pass, and he's seeing if he can maybe work his way by Brian Curry. Got the win last week. How cool would it be to get another top 3 finish for him? Jeff Marble up to 2nd. And 3.3 seconds I'm not going to say it's impossible. Not going to say anything's impossible, but, man, it's really looking like the only thing that's going to keep Joshua Watson out of victory lane tonight is either himself or a caution, and I think he's wanting to hope that neither of those things get in his way. 11 laps to go now from Richmond. Battle back here settled down pretty quick after Austin Fitzgerald got by Brian Curry, and he's going to start to pull away from that battle. Pajari and Watts, they're not done talking to each other just yet. Adrian, I'll tell you what, in fact, all of JBR E-Racing, they've looked like they brought a pretty smooth set. And I've ran some of the officials at Richmond. I'm not a fan of those setups. I think they get extremely loose. I think Richmond's one of those tracks where I'd rather actually give up a little bit of speed just to be comfortable with my handling. And I would certainly want to be one of the guys arguing for a long run setup. Now, we had quite a few cautions about the midpoint of this race. But since then, the last 50 laps have been very clean. We got things cleaned up. Only one incident since then involving Jacob Musso, but he was able to get off track. And since then, no cautions, and we continue to cruise here with now 9 laps to go. Bill Benedict, Brandon Ishkanen, Ryan Haynes just behind them. Brian Conklin, you got to think about the wreck he was in, the damage he got. So for him to still be running 15th, up 6 from where he started, he's got to still feel like it's a good night. Maybe not exactly the way he wanted it to go, but it's got to still feel like a good night nonetheless. Thomas O'Hara, great run for him here tonight. Going to finish inside the top 10. You see, he's already got himself a top 5. He could make it a top 5 and a top 10 here tonight if he can finish the job. But Matthew Cox is going to look to his inside as the 07 slips up just a little bit. The gap up front has extended. Meanwhile, Jeff Marble, what happened here? Seemed like he had second locked up pretty well. All of a sudden, he lost it to Austin Fitzgerald, and this has to make me think that Austin was just making sure that he really saved his stuff. We thought maybe he would do something of that caliber. It seems like he has, and it's paying off in the sense that it allows him to get up to second. Maybe he would have saved enough for Joshua Watson. It's too hard to call, but Watson's just way too far out in front at this point. Tyler Marble, on the other hand, continues to fall, now back to 5th. Going to be under fire here from Alan Pajari and Adrian Watts. You can see the back end of that thing just continuing to fishtail. He has got to be the hardest working driver inside the top 5 right now, doing everything to try to stay there. But the car is just not really wanting to help him out. He has burned up his stuff. And that setup's loose as Alan Pajari is going to get to the outside this time. Tyler's going to run the defensive line. And if Pajari's waiting for him to make a mistake, he may not have to wait long, but Marble able to hold him off for yet another lap. Watson going by the lapper of Todd Shiro. Lap traffic, the only cars that he's going to see out of his windshield for the rest of the way. There's one more group here ahead of him. I'm not sure if he's going to catch these guys in time. Taking a look from the TV3 cam, he might. It's going to be close. Looks like he does have a teammate in that mix. Looks like Scott Glasso in it as well. Danny Gutierrez, another teammate, and Glenn Grigsby. Coming around here, next lap will be the last lap if we're going to get a caution that we'll have one. And at this point, Joshua Watson is going to try to run the fastest lap he's ran all race right here. He wants to see that white flag. He wants to hear the words one more time around. Down into turn 1. Clean set of corners there. He is going to have to potentially maneuver around this lap traffic on the final lap. But when you got this big of a lead, 4.5 seconds, I think maybe you just stay behind him. We'll have to see what he decides to do, but he's going to see the white flag one more time around. Can he make it 9 wins here tonight? Didn't get the pole. Didn't have the best qualifying effort tonight, as a matter of fact. Not too bad, but, maybe not to his standards. Either way, he led the most laps. He's been dominant, had the fastest car, and he is going to add yet another one. How about 9 wins for the driver for JBR E-Racing? Guess who? Joshua Watson wins it at Richmond. Going to extend his lead in the regular season championship. The battle for it, and he is going to add to himself even more playoff points. Austin Fitzgerald brings home 2nd. Tyler Marble finishes 3rd. Little pump of the fist there. And as excited as he is, You got to remember, this is a guy that's won 9 races. So it's a little bit more of a thing he's probably used to. Gets a little victory bump right there from his teammate, Adrian Watts. Jeff Marble 3rd, and another notable finish. Tyler Marble was able to hang on to a 5th place finish after what looked like a wrecking loose car for about the last, I would say, 10 laps at least. Probably even more than that, 20 laps or so. Watson's going to do a little grass burn out here. Have an update on that stat next week. If it still does say 8 wins, that means I forgot something because he is at 9 now. Just a great run race by Joshua Watson. I mean, this was one of those ones where he really was the most dominant car. Long run or not for Austin Fitzgerald, I don't think anybody had anything for him. And I think we're going to hear those exact words in the interview. On that note, we're going to go get your top 3 for interviews. We will be right back. Stick with us. All right, back live at Richmond Raceway. Got your top 3 up here in the booth. Going to start with 3rd place finisher, Jeff Marble. Jeff, this is all stuff in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. How are you?
Well, I'm good. I'll tell you what, man. Good race for you. Finished here in the podium. Overall, though, how'd the car feel tonight?
Well, it was another Jennifer Jo Cobb qualifying performance by yours truly, and put myself in a bit of a hole from the beginning of the race. But I was mad, hot. Tyler's like, just shut up. There's 200 laps to go. And I'm like, all right. So I settled down. The car was balanced for the most part once I could get away and get a little bit of clean air. Tire wear was pretty darn good, so it wasn't tire heat. However, Josh was just a little bit better than us. And a good old Fitz there caught me at the end with his typical long run stuff. So all in all, the car was good, just didn't have enough for the leaders, and disappointed with the caution count. Thought maybe people would tone it down a little bit with the lower incident rates, but it's Richmond. What are you going to do? It was a hot racetrack too. So, but overall, yeah, just P3.
Well, good run tonight nonetheless. Looks like you froze up for us here on the driver cam. But hey, nonetheless, congrats on that 3rd place finish. Before we let you go, is there anyone you want to thank or shout out?
Oh, absolutely. Alloy Wheel Repair Specialist out of Richmond, Virginia, iRacingIFlight.com, Capital Auto Group, Fast Eddie Hot Rods out of Cato, New York, Ghost Racing Network, SimRacerHub.com, and I deeply, deeply apologize if I've missed anybody else, but I'm only human. So, of course, you for doing a fantastic job week in and week out. I appreciate you.
All right, well, I appreciate you shouting us out. Thanks for talking to us, and we will see you next week in Michigan. That's going to be a fun one.
Oh, yeah, can't wait. Defending winner right here.
All right, we'll see if he can go back-to-back then in seasons. Let's head up now to 2nd place finish, Austin Fitzgerald, and hopefully he doesn't freeze up for us here on the driver cams. Hey, it's always a good night when you can get all 3 guys in the driver cams, which is exactly what we've got here tonight. And let's see here. We got him up here. All right, Austin, this is Austin up at the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you. I don't know if you have my driver cam on or not.
Yeah, we got you. Hopefully you don't freeze up for us. Jeff did. But hey,
right.
Let's talk about your race tonight. At the end there, boy, you came to life at the end. What was it?
You know what? We made a change on the set really last minute, and we went for the long run set. This was a set that the team put work into. Alan put a lot of work into, and yeah, we knew it'd pay off if we got the long runs like we did in the springtime here last time we raced. But unfortunately, it didn't pan out that way. So I really struggled on the short runs, and when we got those long runs, it finally started to come in. But we just didn't have enough long runs. I was hoping for some 70, 80, 90 lap runs, but Yeah, we got that 50 lap run at the end though, and that we were able to get a P2. So it's one of those races where I'm real happy with the P2 for sure.
All right, well, we go from two kind of short tracks, if you will. Of course, Richmond is a short track, to two really big, bad fast tracks the next 2 weeks in Michigan and Indy. How you feeling about those?
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. Yeah, I mean, I prefer short tracks and road courses, but you know, I've had some decent luck on the 1.5 miles, and you know, I've always liked Indy, so yeah, I'm feeling good about it.
All right, well, we will see you next week. But hey, before we let you go, is there anyone you want to thank or shout out?
Yeah, my wife and kids, as always. Thank you to Dynamic Autosports. You know, what I really appreciate about this team is that, you know, we're really all about, you know, discipline and practicing patience and really doing good on the long run. I think that showed today. And then thanks to Acoustic Design Systems, my sponsor. And yeah, thank you for the broadcast. And thanks to Tyler and Jeff for putting on this league.
Right. Thanks for talking to us. One more time, congratulations on that second place finish.
Thank you.
And that is going to lead us up to your winner here. Going to slide Austin back down. Joshua Watson. Let's bring him up here, see how he's feeling. Hey, Josh, this is Austin up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, I do.
Well, 9 wins on the season, one more, and I can't count them anymore because I'm out of fingers for it. But hey, either way, rocket ship tonight. Man, I'll tell you what, we were looking throughout the field. There was a lot of guys that looked unstable, but I mean, unless I'm missing something, it did not look like a moment from up here where your car looked like it was out of shape.
No, this car handled like a dream. This is probably by far the best car I have ever had at this track for sure.
Well, you know, I want to ask you, I guess there's not too much that I can ask you about tonight. It was such a dominating performance. Not the best qualifying effort off the start, not too bad. But once you got to the front there, when we started to get that string of cautions, was there anything that kind of worried you?
The cautions definitely worried me. It really kind of brings the field back together and lets the tires cool down. This is the first race on the new low downforce package at this track. So once you kind of cool the tires off, everybody kind of, won't say gets freshies again, but it feels like it for the first few laps. So cautions were definitely making me a little nervous, trying to be able to hold those guys off and not burn my stuff up. I knew if we could get a long run, I felt very confident that once we got out front in clean air, we could be able to put some laps down and put some time down. This thing was just, I mean, absolutely glued to the yellow line through the corners. Just absolutely handled beautifully. Didn't really have to worry about getting on the throttle and spinning it because once it kind of hooked off the corner, it hooked and it went. So I just can't thank Ryko enough for the setups they put out. I mean, we tweaked on it a little bit here and there, but ultimately we went back to the original set they put out and it just handled like a dream.
Well, as calm as Richmond, I guess I would say, was the last 50 laps. Next 2 weeks, not going to be calm at all, but let's focus on next week. Michigan, big track, 3, 4, who knows, maybe even 5 wide. How do you feel about your chances there to make it your 10th win of the season?
It's been an okay track for us in the past. We've had some good ones and some bad ones, so just hoping, like I said, every week kind of hoping to keep the momentum carrying. And, you know, we've had some bad races here and there, but we've been able to rebound really well week after week. So it's definitely going to be different with this car than it was in years past with the Gen 7, as we seen last year with the draft and everything. And so we'll see how it goes there, but it's definitely going to be, I still think it's going to be some tire saving, but it's going to be a really good fast track with some really good racing.
Hey, fast track and the fast track sim. Anyway, okay, hey, before we let you go, is anyone you want to thank or shout out tonight?
I want to thank Ryko for sure, Jeff and Tyler for putting on the league, Buck Kicker for their little deal they got going on, Capital Auto, everybody at JBRE Racing, my family, my friends, all the teammates, you for putting on the broadcast, and I'm probably forgetting a few like every other week, but just thankful to be here and thankful to be running the way we are.
Well, if you keep the speed up that you've got going, you'll have plenty more chances to thank more people. Thank you for talking to us tonight. And one more time, congratulations on that win.
Thank you.
And that was Joshua Watson getting another win on the season. Man, talk about a guy with momentum. He said he's trying to keep the momentum up. I think he's already secured enough momentum for pretty much the rest of the season. But, hey, your top three, we talked to them all. Joshua Watson with the win. Austin Fitzgerald in second, as I meant to actually bring up your results here. Apologize for that. Austin Fitzgerald second and Jeff Marble third. Moving on back to fourth. Brian Curry, Tyler Marble fifth. Alan Pajari in sixth. Seventh place is going to be Adrian Watts. Jeff Shutt in eighth. Matthew Cox ninth. Thomas O'Hara in 10th. 11th, Bill Benedict. Andrew Kotska 12th. Ryan Haynes in 13th. 14th is going to be Brandon Ishkanon. 15th, Cody Matthews. 16th, Brian Conklin. Richard Elliott 17th. Glenn Grigsby 18th. Todd Sherrill 19th. Brian Watson in 20th. Scott Glasso 21st. Jacob Musso 22nd. Danny Gutierrez in 23rd. Johnny McCulchuk 24th. Jared Bundy 25th. Jeffrey Souza 26th. Cody Collier in 27th. Andrew Russo 28th. And Matthew Gearinger 29th. And Cody Richardson rounding out your top 30. Kyle Oakley 31st. Andrew Nieder at 32nd. And Brett Spod going to be rounding out that 33rd position. Rounding out the field, though, Sean Kaltenbach, who, of course, had issues early. Next week, we head to Michigan. It is going to be fun. But overall, Richmond did not disappoint. I know it got a little messy there towards the middle, but the finish, nice green flag run to end it. A couple guys would have liked it to be a little bit longer. A couple guys would have liked it to be a little bit shorter, but all those things factored into what we got, and that was Joshua Watson showing dominance yet again. Next place we head here on Ghost Racing Network is going to be to Tuesday Night Thunder over at Ron Morris Racing. Make sure you don't miss out. Been a fun series. Dawson Wise should be joining me in the booth for that one tomorrow again as well. And until that, we'll see you next week. Have a good night.